Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to cut this cupped corset with yoke and keyhole and then bust waistline, as you can see. If that's what you're searching for, make sure to watch till the end to see how I cut this. This video is going to be a two-part video: how to cut a corset with yoke and how to sew it. So in this video we are going to learn how to cut this corset with yoke. Let's start with the tutorial. To cut this corset, I'll be using my basic block for bustiers. Guys, if you're making a corset, you have a particular basic block for corsets. So if you're using a standard pattern drafting, you have to use a close fitting bodice block. The same thing with if you're using a freehand, and this method I'm using is a freehand, and I have drafted the pattern for the basic block for this. The bustier pattern I made the last time, I'm going to drop that in the description section. Guys, I made that video very detailed for you to be able to understand how to make freehand pattern drafting for your bustiers, and it's beginner friendly. I made it detailed, so make sure you watch that so that you know this level that we're at now. The next thing I'm going to do now is for us to get fullness for the bust. So we are going to be tightening the upper bust area for us to get fullness for the bust. This way you should be able to draft your pattern for both small size and plus size, and you have the bust full. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a princess dart here so that I can reduce the armhole, because for your corset the armhole will gape if you leave it free. So I'm going to tighten the armhole and give more volume to the dart. I did this in the pattern drafting I did for the bustier, so I'm still going to repeat it so that you understand what I'm doing. So at the point, this midpoint where the armhole is, I'm going to connect this to the bust point. You connect it this way. I'm using pencil for this so that later I will do that. So I'm going to make a dart width of 1 inch. So I'm going to mark ½ inch on this side and ½ inch on that side, and I'll connect the both lines. For me to through this, I'm going to measure whatever I have on this longer dart. I'm going to measure this place. Whatever I have, I'm going to make sure this same one is the same as that. So measure it this way. I have 7.5 here, so I'm going to measure that on the other leg. Connect it to this one. So this will be my new armhole line. I'm going to connect this to this. So I'm going to connect this like this. So I'll just go ahead and use my marker to draw this, because this line is permanent. So I'll go ahead and draw this like this. I'm going to close this dart. So for me to do that, I'm going to cut this place open. Next, I'm going to draw the shape of the neckline for the corset. For me to do that, first I'm going to use my pencil to do that. When I'm sure of what I'm doing, then I can use my marker so you guys can see. So from the neckline, I'll come down 6.5 inches. And then from here, I'll come down from the starting point. I'm going to come down like 7.5 inches. Like I said, after drawing this, when I'm sure of the design of the neckline, then I'll go ahead and use my marker to make it visible. Next, on this line, I'm going to mark the bust separation 0.75. I'll mark it here and connect the line like this. On the armhole, I'm going to come down 1 inch. This armhole line, I'll come down 1 inch. So this will guide me on how to mark the neckline. So I'm going to start from this bust separation. Remember, this is 0.75. From here, I'm going to mark the design of the neckline and come in this way. I'm just trying to use my pencil to mark this. When I'm sure of the neckline I have here, then I'll go ahead and finish that up. So I think what I have is okay by me. If you want yours to come up, you can go up like 0. You can come down like 6.5, or that will be too much anyway. It will be going to your throat. So I think 7.5 inches is okay. So I'll just go ahead and mark this like this. So this will be my final line, I believe so. Let me just use a dot to mark this. This will be my final line for now, until I tighten the bust more. Next, I'm going to tighten the bust more so that I avoid gaping on the yoke. So how to do that? I'm going to divide whatever I have here by 2. So you divide your shoulder line by 2, and I'll mark it here. I'll connect this line to the bust point. So for me to tighten this, on this side, the center front side, I'm going to mark 1.25 on this side, and then towards this side I'm going to mark 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect this to the bust point this way, and I'll also connect this one like this. I'll also go ahead and connect this to the shoulder line, and also connect this to this one. So we are going to go ahead and take this off. So first I'm going to cut it here. Cut this one. So I'm going to close this dart. After closing it, you can see that the line has extended to this place. Can you see? So you're going to blend it. That's why I said I will just mark a dotted line, so that when I'm drawing the final line, you will see it. So this will be the final line. I'm going to draw something like this and connect it to that place. So I'll go ahead and draw a new line from here. So this will be my new neckline. We're going to be taking this as the new neckline. So I'll go ahead and cut out the yoke, and then we work on the lower part. Before I do that, I'm going to mark a balance point here where I'm going to be coming in to make the bust cup. So if you notice, the shoulder have shifted, so you're going to mark it back. So from the side seam, I'm going to come in like 3 inches. If you're on a small size, you can make this to be 2.5 inches. I'll mark the balance point here so that I know where my yoke and the cup meets. I'll go ahead and cut out the yoke. So this is the yoke now. I'll set this yoke aside and we work on the cups. So for me to mark for the cups, I'm going to place this like this, aligning this to the under bust line, and I'm going to mark this like this. And then for this, I'm going to connect this to the side like this. So we have the cups now. I'll label this one and this two. This I will say CF, and this I will say side seam. I'll go ahead and cut out the darts. I'll go ahead and cut out the cups so that we can make the basque waistline. If you have watched this video till this time, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share this to your sewing community. That way it will encourage me to do more sewing tutorials. After closing this waist darts, I'll go ahead to make the basque waistline. So for me to cut the basque waistline, I went ahead and increased the length of the top. If you drafted yours past your waistline, then you don't need to do this, but I stopped at my waistline. So to do that, I'm going to increase the length from the waistline down to 6.5 inches, and I'll connect this line to the waistline. I'll go ahead and use this curve ruler to connect it. You can decide to connect, draw yours with a straight ruler, but I want to use this to draw mine. After doing this, I went ahead and threw it, and this is how all the patterns are looking. The cups is all glammed up and everything is looking fine. So this is it for the front. I'll go ahead and make the back. So for the back, I'm using the back I made for the bustier. I dropped the tutorial the last time. I'm not going to be touching it. I'm not going to be doing anything to it. I'll be using zipper for it. So I'm going to add a zipper at the back here. That's why I'm going to add zipper allowance. You can decide to add a keyhole to your back or not. And also I'm going to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance all through. If you want to make lacing for yours, I have a lot of tutorials on how to make lacing. Make sure to check out the video on how I drafted the bustier pattern. It's very important, else everything I did here will be in vain. So guys, these are all the pattern pieces. As you can see, the cups, the yoke, and the lower part of the corset. So I'll go ahead and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance all around it. And at the side seam, you decide how many inches you want for the side seam. So for me, I usually use 1 inch for my side seam. So guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.